Hi, welcome to Irish Urgent News. I'm Alexa Okite, here as representative for Ethiopia.
And I'm Sahara Lee, and today we're going to be talking about the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD for short. On April 2nd, 2011, the Ethiopian government started the construction of GERD. It's been projected that about $5 billion has been spent on this dam and that it will be Africa's largest hydroelectric power once in full operation. GERD is located on the Nile River in northern Ethiopia, upstream from Egypt and Sudan. It will produce roughly 6,000 megawatts of electricity, twice as much as Ethiopia is currently producing today.
Currently, Ethiopia's highlands provide about 85% of the water that flows into the Nile River. The Ethiopian government hopes that GERD is an effective step towards the same kind of economic development like China and other Asian nations have experienced in the past 2 decades.
The Nile Water Agreements of 1929 and 1959 allowed Egypt and Sudan the right to use all the water between them, giving Egypt the right to veto any construction projects taking place. Yet Ethiopia refused to recognize these rights, which has resulted in this tension of whether or not Ethiopia has the authority to control Egypt and Sudan's water supply.
However, regardless of this dispute, this project has many positive impacts for Ethiopia. The Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, is a project owned by the Ethiopian Electric Power Corporation, the EEPCO. Ethiopia's experts project the dam's capacity to give about 60% of the population access to affordable electricity. Around 1/3 of Ethiopians lack access to safe water, with nearly 97 million lacking access to improved sanitation. The dam's construction is expected to create about 12,000 jobs. However, approximately 28,000 people will be resettled. 85% of the Nile River flows in Ethiopia. The river steals Ethiopia's precious resources and will provide a force for Ethiopian development. It is claimed that under rapid filing of the GERD over 3 years, the Ethiopian government would lose about $51 billion USD and 100,000 jobs, such that in 2024, the GDP per capita would be 6% lower than under a counterfactual without the GERD. Egypt, what impacts will this dam bring you?
Although the dam does benefit the region in some ways, for Egypt the building of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is one of our most pressing water issues. Our population of nearly 100 million people depends on the Nile for 90% of their water needs, and due to GERD, the river today doesn't even reach the Mediterranean Sea and is continuously being drained. Egypt is also known to have one of the most productive agricultural sectors. If Ethiopia fills the reservoir between 5 and 7 year intervals, then Egypt's water supply will be decreased by around 12 to 25% during the filling period. Egypt also needs water the most during the months of August, September, and October, which are their cultivating seasons. Alexis, are there any further impacts of this dam towards Ethiopia and surrounding countries?
Beyond the borders of Ethiopia and Egypt, the dam is framed as an African project, as the river is shared by 11 African countries, and the GERD is believed by some to support Africa's green transition. The dam will improve agriculture, and the impact from evaporation of the water from the dam will be minimal compared to other dams in Ethiopia, which will help with water conservation. All the three countries being Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan, have engaged in an African Union mediated talk that have addressed some of the major issues regarding the dam's building, such as droughts, flooding, and loss of resources. The primary purpose of this dam is the electricity production to relieve Ethiopia's acute energy shortage and for electricity export to neighboring countries. How does this dam further impact Egypt?
This project has drastic effects on our economy. Studies show that a decrease of only 1 BCM of water could eliminate more than 1 million jobs and $1.8 billion in economic production annually in all economic sectors. The dam will also hold a lot of silt, which will eradicate fish populations, aquatic plants, which overall decreases biodiversity in Egypt. Higher salinity is also a possible cause of the dam, which can erode soil and plants. How do you propose we fix this?
Bigger gaps in refilling the dam will allow for the Nile to replenish itself and for Egypt to have a more successful agricultural sector.
Another solution is also to have Ethiopia compensate for the effects by allocating energy received from the dam to Egypt, so that all countries are receiving a fair share of the energy produced by the project.
I'm Alexis Okite.
And I'm Sahara Lee.
Thank you for tuning in to Irish Urgent News Center.